Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of the B5 podcast. If you missed the last episode, you should check it out. It's probably going to be way better than this one. I talked with my friend about politics, and yeah, it was pretty good discussion. So, we'll just get right into this one. And as usual, too, I apologize if my throat gets dry or, I'm kind of gulping a little bit. That happens when I talk a lot. But, so first bit of news with the impeachment. Obviously, today, John Bolton came out and said that Trump pretty much did what he's accused of doing, which is, in my opinion, just kind of reinforcing what we already know, because we know for sure, after that watchdog report came out, too, that he was guilty of, for sure, overriding Congress's authority on the budget. It's pretty clear and obvious to me that he's guilty. It's just a matter of Republicans, doing what's right or not. And obviously, I don't think they're going to do what's right, and they're continuing not to do what's right. We talked about this in the last episode, kind of what the overall repercussions of this are going to be. We talked about, the evidence against him. So I'm not going to talk too much about impeachment in this episode, but pretty much the only update is that it's they're debating whether they're going to allow evidence. The defense is still talking. But other than that John Bolton news, I don't think they're going to allow any witnesses to testify, and I don't think they're going to allow any evidence, so it's kind of a sham trial anyway. I'm assuming it's just going to fail along party lines. Unless somebody has a change of heart. I heard Mitt Romney might be trying to do something, but I doubt he will because he's kind of a punk bitch. I don't know. Just a lot of nothing pretty much on that front. The Iowa caucus is a week from today. I'm recording this on Monday, but I'm assuming I'll upload it tomorrow, so it should be Tuesday, and then it's like less than a week away. But Bernie is at like a 9-point lead right now in Iowa. He's really just kind of exploded. And we talked about this in the last episode too, how Warren's backstabbing and Biden kind of just falling on his face and lying blatantly is going to come back and like just really boost Bernie, and it has. Everybody else is kind of just fucked up to the point where they're almost handing Bernie the election by attacking him with stupid shit, like calling him a sexist or a misogynist, even though he clearly isn't, or, Biden lying about Social Security and how much Medicare for All is going to cost, and, just these blatant, stupid lies and talking points, kind of shooting himself in the foot. So, Bernie's up by 9 points, so that is massive, and it's looking like he might win New Hampshire, too, but at the same time, voter complacency, we can't get complacent. He's not president until he is president. He is not winning the primaries until he's winning the primaries. We got to stay energized. We got to get out and vote. We got to get everybody out to vote as much as you can do to get him elected. Do it. If that's just donating, fine. That's all I have time to do. I've been busy as fuck lately, but I still donate here and there, even though I'm broke as fuck too. It's a very positive movement. Something fucking good needs to happen in this goddamn world. It's about time it did. And electing Bernie Sanders would be a good start. But it's looking pretty good for Iowa, and it's looking pretty good for New Hampshire, and it's looking pretty good overall. He's just going to have to go up against Trump, which is going to be hard as fuck, and I think it's going to be a lot harder than most people think. I'm glad his campaign, though, they put out a statement, just reminding everybody to stay positive no matter, what the propaganda or the attacks against Bernie are going to be, because it's only going to get worse. I've said this before, I'll say it again. It's just going to get way, way worse in terms of what the attacks are, how ridiculous they are. They're really going to come after him with everything. He's up against insurance companies, Wall Street, rich people, the establishment in general. It's going to get real ugly. And, I like that his campaign put out a message reminding everybody to stay positive no matter what, stay energized. He's going to really have to carry this energy through to a general election. And, I don't know. I'm optimistic, but at the same time, I'm cautiously optimistic. We can't get complacent no matter what. We cannot be complacent. And we can't buy into the media bullshit. We can't buy into the, special interest bullshit. Can't buy into conservative bullshit because conservative economic theory is a bunch of bullshit. But whatever. we can only do what we can do, and the rest is up to other people. So, I like his chances, but, like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic. I also apologize for any traffic noise in the background. People fucking rev their engines and fire trucks go by and shit, so I can't really control that. And I'm recording this on my phone, so pretty shitty audio quality, but quality content, and that's what we're all here for. So, what else should I talk about? Bernie's chances in general. I pretty much covered it. I think it's pretty good. It's just up to him carrying momentum and conveying his message to voters. I think he'd do pretty well among independents and maybe even conservatives once they, realize what he's saying. Yeah, the Joe Rogan thing, that's been a hot topic, and he hasn't put out a podcast yet. But I'm kind of interested to see what he thinks about how he's being portrayed and the reaction to his I say endorsement lightly because he said he was probably voting for Bernie, which is still, pretty cool thing to say, and I thought his explanation was pretty good. I think Bernie's probably gotten a bit of a bump from that too, if I'm being honest, because his fan base is like pretty much independents and like these people that consider themselves to be intellectuals and deep thinkers and whatever. But I think that his endorsement does carry some weight, at least more than the fucking New York Times. Jesus, Klobuchar and Warren. We talked about that in the last episode too, but my God, how out of touch with reality do you have to be to fucking endorse Klobuchar and Warren? Both of them. They have no chance. Warren's like 5th, and Klobuchar's like 6th or 7th. I think Yang's even ahead of like the majority of corporate Democrats, which is pretty funny, but whatever. I don't think I really talked about Yang before either, but I have to admit, when he first started running, when he was for Medicare for All, I did like what he was saying, but then he backtracked so heavily on healthcare, like, he really, for me, that kind of just ruined his whole thing, because he really sold out on that, and I think that's when money started coming in for him, and when he actually started getting some momentum, he kind of backtracked on, like, pretty much all of his early policies. He said he agreed with Bernie initially on Medicare for All and was for single payer, and now he's like for this weird private insurance, corporate free market shit, which is just ridiculous. I think he's kind of just made UBI his one issue he's running on, and he doesn't really seem to have many other progressive policy points, unless it's like social common sense shit like legalization of weed and stuff. But he has really backtracked on a lot of stuff, which makes me view him as more of a conservative, honestly. So I don't know, and I'm not a huge fan of his Yang Gang supporters. Are fucking annoying as hell. Nothing against you. Like, Yang is not the worst candidate by any means. Like, he's probably 4th or 3rd on my list if I had to make a list. And, I don't hate the guy or anything, but his fans spam me with the same bullshit whenever I'm just a little bit critical of him. And it's like, well, he's moved to better positions. It's like, not on healthcare, he hasn't, It's like, they defend this backtracking, and that's just what's more frustrating. Like, at least just, take it as it is. Don't just try and make it something it isn't. I guess that's my point. But yeah, I don't think he has a really good chance at all, so I don't really think about him that much. But like I said, he's not the worst by any means, in my opinion. I just don't like a lot of the interactions I've had with his fans, and my voice is already getting dry and cracky. That's great. 9 minutes in. Great. Anyway, I do think that Joe Rogan endorsement was pretty good. I'm interested to see what he has to say about it. I don't know when his next podcast is coming out or anything, but I'm very interested to see what his reaction is to the backlash he's getting. And not only him, but Bernie for accepting the endorsement. I don't know, Bernie's gotten a lot of cool endorsements though lately. The fucking, what's his name? I can't fucking think of his name, but the guy who voices Archer and like Bob's Burgers. I don't watch Bob's Burgers, but I watch Archer, and I fucking love Archer. And I was watching, it was a couple days ago, but it was a Medicare for All video series Bernie put out on YouTube. It doesn't have a lot of views or anything. It's only like 50,000 views. But this dude, he starts talking. I'm like, this guy sounds fucking familiar. And he's like, hi, my name's blah, blah, blah. And here I'm endorsing Bernie and I'm talking about Medicare for all. And it's fucking Archer. It's the guy who voices Archer. Bernie got fucking Archer to fucking narrate Medicare for all fucking support videos, which is metal as fuck considering that's my main issue and I fucking love that show. I like had a fucking nerdgasm when I heard that shit. I was just, oh, it's great. It's a 3-part video series on Bernie Sanders' YouTube channel. You should check it out, but it's just really great. They talk about like the facts of Medicare for all. They debunk a lot of talking points. It's very informative too, but also entertaining. So I'd recommend checking that out. Very cool endorsement. I know Michael Moore has been doing a lot of stuff too in Iowa. I'm a huge Michael Moore fan. He really made me interested in like filmmaking and stuff. From a very young age too. I watched Bowling for Columbine when I was like 8. I didn't really understand it, but I thought it was like, you know, I could kind of tell he was something special. And Sicko is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. That's probably why I support Single Payer as much as I do. Where to Invade Next was really good. Yeah, he's got some good movies. You know, I know he's biased, obviously, but like, you know, pretty good overall. A lot of it's just like statistics and, you know, representing the left-wing view, and I appreciate that. But he's been campaigning in Iowa a lot lately. I think he might come up to Minnesota soon if I was looking at the schedule right. I'd like to meet him. I'd like to see him speak. But yeah, I know Bernie's been busy with the impeachment stuff, so AOC and Michael Moore have been having events, and that's really cool too. That's pretty high energy and stuff like that. It gets people out, you know. So very interesting stuff. Very interesting endorsements, you know. I'm kind of interested to see how the celebrity community reacts, because I feel like the hipster candidate among celebrities is like Buttigieg for some reason. I saw Charlemagne, who is usually like not, I don't take him to be a dumbass, but he really bought into Pete Buttigieg's bullshit for some reason. God, the guy fucking has terrible track record with African Americans in South Bend, especially the police officers there. From what I understand, he really mistreated them. His housing program, which pretty much resulted in a lot of empty lots in low-income areas, which is just, yeah, he really fucked up some shit. I watched a video on that, and people went around those neighborhoods he says he fixed, but are really just like ghost towns now. And all of his programs, like, he defends them in a way where he seems like he's confident that he was right, but it's so blatantly obvious that he fucked up and he just doesn't want to say it. And it's very frustrating because nobody's really holding him accountable for it. They're just kind of like going along with it. And when he is held accountable, it's kind of ignored. He did a black and brown panel, Vice's black and brown panel. And that was really good because the hosts were like not having any of his bullshit. The one guy kept laughing at his answers and like shaking his head. And he really just kind of showed how out of touch he was with like the black community in general. God, my fucking voice. But yeah, he was asked a question, like, what would you bring to a cookout? And he's like, is it a breakfast potluck? And the guy's like, no, man, you're already getting it wrong. And then he's like, I don't know, chips and salsa, I guess. And the one dude's just, like, shaking his head. It was fucking hilarious. But, like, he just, like, he can't relate. I guess that's my point, you know? And he just seems so fucking white and lame. And I say that as a white person. He's so goddamn lame. And, I don't know. I feel like there's certain things that he's just, like, not getting on a fundamental level. Even the silly stuff like that, like cookout jokes and stuff. But even on a larger scale, like ignoring African-American police officers' concerns of racism in the police department, telling them to, like, talk to some committee instead of you, even though the committee wasn't doing anything. And it's so fucked up. It's like a typical politician, but, like, to the max. And he brands himself as a progressive, which really frustrates me because all of his ideas are really fucking moderate and neo-lib and shit. So, very frustrating stuff. I don't know. I think he's going to finish in a strong 4th place, though, in Iowa. He'll probably come in a strong 4th. He's kind of put all of his eggs in that basket, though, so I'm going to be interested to see when he kind of drops out or runs out of money or whatever. I know he's got a lot of money coming in from, like, billionaire donors, but if he's not putting up the numbers, I doubt he's going to get much attention, you know? So I'm kind of interested to see. I'm getting all fucking nasally now. God damn it. But yeah, I guess that's all I really think about him. And his chances are not good. And he's putting all of his eggs in the Iowa basket. It's going to blow up in his fucking face. And I will be very happy when that happens. Because he seems like he's a giant douche. He did a Fox News town hall, too. That was pretty bad. I don't remember exactly what he said in the beginning. It was like the first question. He fucking really sucked at answering it. I don't remember what it was, but I cringed really hard. And I just was thinking, like, dude, just stop talking. And he kept saying the same shit. And it was not a good town hall. Bernie had a town hall on Fox News, and that was really good. I'd recommend watching that sometime if you have time. But, like, Pete's just, like, you can tell he wants to appeal to the GOP really bad, or, like, just conservatives in general. And it's like he is pretty much just a Republican at this point, and it's kind of sad, but, like, that's the state of the Democratic Party. And I don't know if more people are realizing it now. I'm kind of coming more to the realization that they've always been pretty much two sides to the same coin, you know? And it's kind of depressing. But I'm glad Bernie's around now and a new generation's kind of waking up. And it's very enjoyable to see these moderates kind of like getting pissed and flailing and saying Bernie's got dark money interests or whatever, supporting his campaign, whatever the fuck that means. I think he was referring to Our Revolution, which is kind of laughable considering the donors he has. But, yeah, dark money groups. And now they're getting all, you know, they're going to try and attack Bernie, and it's just going to backfire like it already has for Biden and for Warren. So I guess I think they're getting desperate, and they're making themselves look stupid. And, I mean, it's better for Bernie, I guess, but it's probably not good in terms of unity and the Democrats uniting under Bernie. Because if he is the nominee, I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to support him. And, I mean, you can't have Hillary Clinton, the last nominee, saying shit like nobody likes him and, like, really just stupid shit about probably the future nominee if this keeps up, if he keeps his momentum. I mean, you can't have that. And Obama's going to probably try and speak out against him. I mean, it's just going to look really bad for the Democrats. I think everybody needs to remain neutral until there's a nominee. It's very frustrating. I mean, they don't practice what they preach, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because before they said the same shit about us Bernie bros, and now they're fucking doing it, so whatever. In a way, I think this benefits conservatives and the GOP, you know, neolibs and progressives fighting. I mean, like, it's obvious. I mean, neolibs are obviously slightly better than just being a conservative, even if they're still shitty. But, like, I feel like this is going to be the downfall of ideologies, like, understanding each other, you know? Like, I think we need to be progressive, but at the same time, we still need to draw in those moderates. And I think Bernie will do a really good job with that once the general election rolls around. But, I mean, like, if we just keep staying divided, or just even slightly divided, I mean, Republicans are going to win with the Electoral College, and shit's going to be way worse than it could be, even with neolibs in charge, you know? Like, I'd still rather have Hillary Clinton over Trump, even though she's an asshole, like, you know? But, I mean, I guess that's my edgiest take, is that, I mean, it's not really even that edgy, honestly, just saying you'd rather have Hillary over Trump, even though they're both corrupt and shitty. I mean, it's just whatever. It's not even worth talking about because it's not 2016 anymore. I don't know. I don't know if it's not Bernie. I'll still probably vote for the nominee. I'm not a vote blue no matter who kind of person, but I probably will fucking vote blue no matter who, sadly. But I like I said, I think it is going to be Bernie. I'm fairly confident. And obviously, you know, I'm a very progressive person, so I have left, the last time I voted, I did leave a couple blank. I had a couple very moderate Democrats that you could probably consider Republicans on the ballot, and I left 2 of them blank, and I was happy with that decision, especially after the impeachment hearings, and some of the decisions made since Trump was elected, so I'm very satisfied with leaving those 2 spots blank. I did vote for Klobuchar, and I did vote for Tina Smith. I live in Ilhan Omar's area, so I get a vote for her, luckily. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm lucky that I have some candidates that I actually do believe in and get a vote for regularly. But in terms of Klobuchar and Smith, like, I kind of just bite the bullet. They're moderates, they're kind of neoliberals. They're better than the alternative. Amy just barely is better than the alternative. But I think you get what I'm saying. Like, I'll bite the fucking bullet as long as a blatant conservative asshole with very shitty takes does not get into office, I guess is what I'm saying. The lesser of the two evils. And that's what I'm saying, though. Like, I'm willing to bite the fucking bullet, but are the moderates going to be able to bite the fucking bullet if it's Bernie, getting in there? And I don't think a lot of them will. I don't think a lot of them are going to practice what they preach, sadly. And like I said, that's just going to play into the GOP's hands and the conservative hands and whatever. I'm just repeating myself, but you get it. And you're probably going to disagree, if you really just want to vote Bernie or bust, more power to you. Vote for whoever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. Well, I do give a shit, but, like, I'm not going to tell you not to do something if you don't believe in it, I mean, it's up to you to read shit, look at facts and statistics and form an opinion on that, and then decide who you want to vote for. And if you have a candidate that you really believe in and you get screwed over and you have to vote for a shit sandwich, then you can either eat the sandwich or just, like, I don't know, sit it out maybe. I mean, I have no idea, honestly. I'm just kind of rambling now. Let's talk about something more positive. How about music? Because I have been listening to the fuck out of Radiohead lately. I have been listening to so much goddamn Radiohead. I found a video on YouTube the other day on accident, which is called In Rainbows in the Basement. And it's like this live performance of a lot of In Rainbow songs, some Kid A stuff. Really fucking good concert. Tom York's vocals are killer. His energy is insane. They pull off a lot of the sounds well, even though it's a little bit more stripped down. And it's so fucking good. So goddamn good. And I like Coldplay a lot, and I like Radiohead a lot. And I know it's kind of stupid to compare the two, but when Coldplay's at their best, I mean, they're similar to Radiohead in a lot of ways. Not as good, but, like, still similar, And I think their new album has been... Everyday Life by Coldplay is just fucking next level. Like, I like that album more than some Radiohead albums, and... Oh, it's so good. It's a return to form for them, and I think Radiohead is going to keep making great music. I think they're supposed to have an album coming out next year, according to some theories and their whole website library thing, which, if you haven't seen that, go check that out, because that's pretty interesting. They have, like, a library redesign on their site, so they have, like, all kinds of old clips and merchandise and stuff. It's very interesting, so go check that out. But, yeah, I've been listening to Radiohead lately. I've been working on my mixtape a little bit more. I've been pretty busy lately, so I haven't really got to pursue any creative interests at all, sadly. Like, I haven't been able to make a YouTube video for a while. Haven't been able to work on my Star Wars fanfic. I am going to work on a YouTube video, though, probably another Fallout 4 Let's Play series, because I have a lot of clips I haven't used yet, so I'm probably going to try and continue that and put together another episode. But yeah, no, with my mixtape, I've been listening to Radiohead, and I've been, like, listening to music really intensely. Paul McCartney, too, obviously. If you watch my first episode, I talk about that. But I've been listening to Paul McCartney, Radiohead, pretty intensely. And I'm kind of crafting music that, like, in my mind sounds similar to that. I really like Radiohead's sound, especially on Moonshaped Pool. I really like that kind of electronic, alt-rock, weird shit. And my vocals aren't great, but, I like my music that I've made more than I initially did. And I mentioned I have I have tons of instrumental tracks. I'm going to make 2 more tracks and then finish my first EP. I have 3 songs out right now, so I just want to have 2 more and have, like, a 5-song EP. So I have 12 tracks I'm working on right now, and whichever 2 I get to the point where I can put lyrics and vocals to them first, those are probably the 2 I'm going to use, depending on how much I like them and how much it fits in with the vibe of my other 3 songs. Because I want it to be one coherent piece, even though the songs are kind of different, and I've made them, like, weeks and months apart, But I still want it to be, like, kind of a theme, if that makes sense. So anyway, yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Radiohead and Paul McCartney and Coldplay. And Pearl Jam's new song, which is really good, by the way. I would check that out. I didn't like it at first because it was so different. It's so different from what they've done, but there's a lot of climate change tones and earth tones, and it's very experimental, a little bit electronic and synthy, but they got a sick guitar riff. Eddie Vedder's vocals are like, they sound kind of like Talking Heads a little bit, but it's like really good vocals. I'm excited for their album. Like, I'm really excited for their upcoming album. I think they said they're gonna have some songs that sound like classic Pearl Jam and some that are like experimental. So I think that's like the best case scenario, like best of both worlds or whatever. So I'm pretty excited for that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of weird jumping from topic to topic. Fucking politics and music. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, very interesting stuff. I like all the political statements a lot of artists are making. Um, Not just because I agree with them, but because it's like in a way that's like, I feel like just not like the amount of messages coming from artists are just like so profound. Like, it's not historically been such unity behind certain issues, like in terms of saving the planet and fucking progressive values. I talk about this a lot too, but Paul McCartney's last album, my God, listen to that. I mean, like, that's a guy, he was in the Beatles, he's been around for a long time, and I think his life experiences and some of the things he's seen and some of his experiences with his friends, especially one that was fucking killed with a gun, like, he just has some very interesting opinions, and I feel like his frustration and his anger for not being a terribly political person in the past really came out on this album, and kind of struggling with his own mortality too, which is another issue altogether, but very interesting stuff. Egypt Station, I definitely recommend listening to that album. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. I still listen to that. That came out like 2 years ago now almost, and fucking love that shit still. Yeah, I don't know. Music's good. It's pretty good year and a half for music, I'd say. Um, yeah. I don't know. It just helps too, like listening to music intensely and then making music like that. It's the best feeling in the world. And I struggle with like depression and like feeling pretty shitty most days, but that always makes me feel better. So I think I don't know, it's nice to talk about. And that's kind of what this podcast is, no certain theme. It's not always going to be political. It's not always going to be, whatever, but just kind of whatever I have to say, I guess. And it could be with me, just me, or like a friend like last time, which again, watch the last episode. It's way better than this one, but yeah. If you follow me on Twitter, I usually ask about like questions and topics to cover. And I was asked about the coronavirus, or asked to cover that from one of my loyal followers. If you're listening, shout out to you. You know who you are. But I mean, the coronavirus is weird to me because it's exactly like the movie Contagion. With fucking Matt Damon. Like, it's literally exactly like that. There's like a bat or something with a bat. I don't know a lot about what's going on. I've been so fucking busy lately, I haven't paid attention. But it's just like the movie Contagion. There's a bat that like causes some disease, and some lady brings it back, and it's in Chicago. And then there's people in Chicago that are sick, apparently, in America. And then in China, they're like having this full-blown meltdown and like trying to stop this spread of this disease, and they're like building shitty hospitals, and the world's panicking, and it's exactly the same as real life, like in that movie. And it's really weird. Like, I don't want to say it's funny because it's fucked up and it's terrible. Obviously it's terrible, but I mean, I think that's a little ironic, just a little bit. Really good movie too, by the way. Kind of underrated. Nobody really talks about that movie anymore. I haven't seen it for a few years, but I remember I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. But yeah, it's pretty much just like Contagion. So that, I guess, is my thoughts on the coronavirus. I don't know enough to have an opinion. I haven't really thought about it. I've been so goddamn busy lately. But yeah, I'm sure I'll think about it if people in Minnesota start getting sick. But right now I'm Gucci. I'm worried about like money and grades and job and I don't know, all kinds of other shit, personal shit. So that's my thoughts on the coronavirus. Thank you for the question. Hopefully that's a great answer for you. Watch Contagion. That's my answer. Yeah. I guess another thing is the rumors about a KOTOR remake. I'm a huge fan of KOTOR. Like, I mentioned I'm writing a Star Wars fanfic. That's the main reason why, is because I love Star Wars, but I love KOTOR especially as like an RPG guy. Like, that's one of my favorite games of all time. Nearly perfect. I think the first one is pretty much perfect. The second one's ending kind of sucked, but really two great games in general. And my friend sent me that article today about the rumored remake, and I watched some stuff on it, and I'm cautiously optimistic because it sounds like they're gonna change some like story perspectives, or they're like making almost a whole new game, and it's not so much a remaster or a remake. It's like almost a whole new game is what they're saying, because they're gonna combine two of the stories. So like, I'm really confused. I don't understand if they're remaking both the games individually but changing some things, or if they're like making a new game. Because they mentioned something about like a sequel of sorts, which I don't understand. I don't know. Very weird shit that I don't really know, but I'm hyped either way. Like, I'll put money into a KOTOR game. I don't care if it sucks or not. I'm gonna fucking support that shit. Um, yeah. I guess that's all. I wanted to talk about that a little bit though, because I really do like KOTOR. They have a great story. I know they mentioned about like trying to make it fit into the current canon storyline, which I'm not really sure if they're gonna make like a KOTOR movie or something, but very interesting, nonetheless. So yeah, that's KOTOR. I don't know what else to talk about. I'm working on a Fallout video. I haven't really been playing Xbox a lot lately. Like I said, I've said a lot already, but I've been so fucking busy. Like, I haven't had a lot of free time, like, consistently, so I'm making a fucking podcast, of course, instead of doing other shit, just because I wanted to talk about random shit going on. Also, before I forget, going back into politics now, an article came out today from The Atlantic saying not to nominate Bernie and Bernie can't win. And it's the same guy that said Trump can't win. And he's like this weird moderate guy. And he said Bernie can't win, but Bloomberg and Buttigieg can. Are you fucking kidding me? God. That's got to be like the shittiest take I've seen in a hot minute. Like, that was pretty shitty take. Bloomberg. How much is Bloomberg paying you to fucking write that shit? Like, I haven't. All the guy does is put out shitty ads and, like, say he created 20,000 jobs. Like, nobody gives a fuck about Bloomberg. Fuck that guy. He has no charisma, no relatability. He's just a loser. He's a billionaire and a loser, and he has no chance. And so does Pete. Pete doesn't have a chance at all. He's a loser. He's not a billionaire, but he's still a loser. His charisma, like I mentioned before, he has no relatability. He seems like a robot. Some of the shit he says is really cringy. Especially the chips and salsa thing, that was really cringy. Asking if it was a breakfast potluck instead of at like a cookout or something. I don't know. Stupid. Watch a clip yourself. Very cringy. Very stupid stuff. Getting caught up in my own words. Jesus. I don't know why my goddamn throat gets so dry when I do this shit. It's like I think about what I'm saying, so then I think about my voice, and then my throat gets dry. But I don't give that much of a shit, so I don't know why it's... I don't know. That's why I'm drinking water so goddamn much. Anyway, yeah, pretty shitty take by The Atlantic. Shout out to that guy. Go fuck yourself, buddy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for shit to actually start happening. I think Iowa can't get here fast enough. I'm very excited for the Iowa caucus, but that's the same day that I, like, pay rent and have to renew my lease, so I'm also not looking forward to the Iowa caucus day. God, I don't know. Very weird week for me coming up, and it's, like, overshadowing what should be an exciting time, but I'm just, like, so goddamn full of, like, shit to do. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, what else? I talked about music, I talked about politics, I talked about some of the creative shit I'm doing. I had another TikTok go viral. That was pretty cool, I guess, but TikTok's kind of lame as fuck, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean anything. I'm, like, addicted to that app, though. It's so goddamn addicting. Ugh. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to do more substantial stuff. I'm probably going to work on my mixtape a little bit after this. I don't know when I'm going to get around to doing vocals. I haven't done vocals since I finished my last song, and that was like a couple months ago. Almost 2 months ago, I'm pretty sure. And I just want to finish it so bad, but I don't want to rush out some shit, you know? And I'm really digging this Radiohead vibe, so I'm trying to make some like Radiohead-ish, Paul McCartney-ish shit. Kind of blend my influences together and hopefully make something that doesn't suck. So, yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess I've kind of talked about all kinds of shit. I talked about my creative shit, politics, KOTOR, music stuff, that Atlantic article that fucking sucked. Yeah, I mean, it's just been so, I feel like everything's just been so goddamn depressing lately, so it's like I haven't really paid much attention to anything. Is like the fucking virus, like I said earlier, I haven't really paid attention to it. I just don't have the energy to. It's like I'm not gonna worrying about it's not gonna do anything, and I'm not gonna become an expert on the coronavirus and find a cure or anything. So it's like I can't really do much. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah, I don't know. Very strange times. Very strange times indeed. But I do think it's funny that that's exactly like the movie Contagion. Check that out again. Underrated movie. But, like, I think Bernie Sanders, that's the thing that I really like about him, is that he's this positive force, a positive movement, unity. I went to his rally. It was like a fucking rock concert, high energy, a lot of positive vibes, weed in the air, fucking Prince's band was playing and shit. Like, it's just a fun experience. It's a very positive experience. That's why I like Michael Moore and AOC keeping up that energy. They have positive vibes, positive messages. And I really I like his whole movement. He surrounds himself with pretty good people. Nina Turner, there's a good example. I think that she should be the VP pick, which I talked about in my last episode. I don't know why I thought Tulsi would be a good pick. I read more into her Hindu like extremism and like ties to India, which is really sketchy. Obviously, I don't agree with her on everything. I do think she has some good takes. She usually has Bernie's back, which is pretty nice. But like, I don't know. I think she'd be a good candidate in some areas, and in other areas, I just think it's very sketchy. Like the Hindu nationalist stuff again. I mentioned that in my last episode. I've read about it a little bit more. Just her ties to certain groups, and she goes there a lot, and it's very strange in India and stuff like that. Very strange. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't really have any crazy woke takes or anything, but it is very weird. Yeah, I don't know. I think Nina Turner would be a kick-ass vice president, though. I doubt she'd accept. I doubt she would want to be vice president because it's mostly just a figurehead role. But my God, I was thinking about this the other day. I'd love to see her just kick the shit out of Mike Pence in a debate. That would be so goddamn enjoyable to watch her just kick the shit out of Mike Pence. She would attack him on shit, and he would have no idea how to react. Like, I watched Tim Kaine debate him a few years ago, and Tim Kaine just fucking fell flat on his face. He did not know how to attack him. He did not know how to debate him, and Nina Turner would just go for blood. She would kick his ass in a debate, and I would love to see that. And if that's the only thing she would do as vice president, it'd be a very big success. But, like I said, I doubt she would take that role. I think she needs to get back into some sort of position, though. I mean, I don't know a lot about her, but I've seen her. I mean, I have a basic knowledge of her and stuff like that. I've seen her speak a few times, and she just has this energy about her, which is just really crazy. Like, I really hope she runs for president someday. Like, she's just a very positive figure. Does not take bullshit. Oh, she's great. But yeah, that's what I think about vice presidential picks for Bernie. Like, I mean, I guess I really don't have an opinion on it. I'm gonna, honestly, I'll probably be fine with whoever he picks as long as it's not some, like, moderate, to try and appeal to moderate voters, which is stupid because that doesn't really matter anyway. But, I don't think he would. I think he'd just pick a progressive too. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I mean, Bernie Sanders being president for 8 years during the prime of my life, my 20s. I mean, just doing, like, coke at, like, a rave with a socialist president would be, like, my ideal world. Preferably if like Daft Punk has some new music out, you know. Um, I mean, great. I mean, I could just OD, go to the hospital free of charge. Oh, the possibilities are endless, honestly. But yeah, no, I am excited for that though. I mean, I think it'd be a very positive thing for the world, a positive thing for my life personally. Um, just a positive thing for society, and like hopefully, like obviously I know he's older, but I think he could be president for 8 years. I think he has many good years left to live. He's a very healthy person, minus the heart attack, but like I think he's a very healthy person. I think he has good stamina. And I mean, I obviously I think for sure for one term he'd be fine, but I would hope that he could, you know, serve for 8 years. I think he'd be one of the best presidents in history if he really did serve for 8 years and accomplished a lot. It's a good thought, a good positive thought. And I'm gonna end the podcast on that good positive thought. Bernie Sanders, president, cocaine rave, Daft Punk party beats, 2021 to 2029. Ooh, that'd be fun. That'd be a whole lot of fun. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you did listen to this, I apologize. I mean, God, what a shit show. But yeah, check out the last episode. That's pretty good. I'm gonna try and get another guest on for next time, so it's not just me again. I don't really know what to talk about sometimes, so yeah. I'm gonna link all my stuff down below, my YouTube, my mixtape, my Twitter. Check it out. Subscribe, listen, follow, whatever. Thanks for listening or watching or whatever the fuck this is. I don't know if it's watching or not. Listening, probably. But yeah, thanks for listening. I'll see you guys next time.